rote baby. Rafana ne javudie. Ore shangola shwiye. Vele panda. I hope you guys are good. This week I am in the Volkswagen Polo Vivo GT. And yeah, very budget. But is it budget? I mean, it costs like 350,000 rand, so it's not the cheapest car around anymore. But yeah, let's get into it. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started with the exterior of the Polo Vivo GT. And I think that Jogi Polo 6, there's not much. I mean, they just added LEDs more. There's a GT sticker going around. There is, 17-inch alloys. Yeah, and it's blue. It's blue, but it looks good. I think, to be honest, it looks really good. It's a very cool, urban, youthful looking car. So it's a very nice looking car. So I think that they actually kind of got it right with the exterior styling. They have the addition of the LEDs. Obviously, it's still very Polo 6, man. They got a Polo 6 for me. So there's not much major upgrades or major changes. But it's nice. I mean, it's a Vivo. So it's nice. So moving on to the interior, I mean, it's nothing that you haven't seen before. It's a Polo interior. You know, you have your multifunction leather wrapped steering wheel. You have an analog display. Your lights control is just that flick of a knob. Climate control buttons are a flick of a knob. You have your infotainment system screen, which is quite small. Multifunction buttons also. So your climate control menus are also quite nice. Obviously, yeah, it's a Polo, man. You have the red stitching on the seats here. Would have been nice if the seat belts were red to kind of keep on that GT kind of feel, to make it like a bit of an exclusive spec. But now the seat belts are black. You have a black roof lining. Yeah, like I said earlier, guys, it's a Vivo interior. Like there's nothing too crazy about it. Yeah, so there's the interior. But I think it's nice. It's one of my favorite VW interiors. I think it's one of the most functional VW interiors, so kudos to them for that. I am very disappointed in the fact that to adjust the side mirrors, it's still that knob. I think that is a bit diabolical from Volkswagen, because we're paying so much money for this car. And I mean, even the windows, whoa. So let's move on to the drive. So what is powering the Volkswagen Polo Vivo GT? The Vivo GT is powered by a 1-liter turbocharged engine that produces 81 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters of torque. And it's very much a Vivo, because this thing is fast. Like, sometimes I'm like, are they sure there's 81 kilowatts in here? Because it feels like there's probably 100. And then they had to just, cook the books and cap it to 81. But yeah, I mean, it's quite nimble, it's fast, it has a 6-speed manual gearbox. This is one of the nicest gearboxes I've ever experienced. I'm very familiar with VW's 5-speed. This Hyundai and Suzuki's gearboxes are one of my top 3. People say Ford gearboxes, their manuals are nice, yes, but I think my top 3 has to be Suzuki, VW, Suzuki's 5-speed, VW, and Hyundai. So it's a very nice and enjoyable car to drive. I mean, it's very efficient. When it came, I got a full tank range of 730 kilometers. Currently now on a 3/4 tank, and I have 420 kilometers left. So I think it's a very commendable drive. It's very comfortable to drive, very easy to drive, also in the sense that the clutch is not too soft, but it's not too firm also. So learning how to drive with this car is actually an ideal thing, because I learned how to drive with a Vivo, the outgoing one. But I learned how to drive with the outgoing Vivo, and I think it's a really nice car. Like, clutch, I think I'm not like, smooth sailing clutch. So now, yeah, quite a lot of good things we can say. Let's get into the verdict. So I think that the ultimate verdict of the Polo Vivo GT for me, it is a beautiful car. Looks good, looks very urban, very trendy, very young, very youthful. So I think it's a very nice car to have, and it looks the part. Very spacious, boot capacity is absolutely great. There's leg room at the back for enough people. It's quite Vivo-ish. Like, it's a very much a Vivo, right? So we know the Vivo, we lived with it, and it's a nice car to have. It's a nice entry into the buying world. It's a really, really commendable car to have. But I do think with this one, they kind of missed it, especially with the GT. It's a bit too expensive. With 350,000 rand, you can get quite a lot of cars. You can get a Baleno, you can get a Swift, you can get a i10, you can get a Renault Clio, I'm sure. You can get an i20, an entry-level i20. So 350,000. I mean, everything here, like there's a camera that costs 6,000 rand extra. This armrest thing here, this armrest thing is another what? 2,000 rand. It's expensive. And I think I was looking at the spec sheet and the configurator, and I came to the conclusion that you don't need the Vivo GT. Just get a comfort line. The comfort line, 1.4 comfort line 5-speed, is 280,000 rand. When it comes to budget cars, you don't need all these nice things. You don't need a black roof lining. You don't need reverse cameras. You just probably need a reverse assistant. And the fact that they're charging 350,000 rand and only the front windows are electric is a little bit insane for me, a bit diabolical. So I think, nah, man, you don't need the GT. That's all I'm going to say. You don't need the GT. Get a comfort line, live your best life. Smaller wheels, you'll be fine. Because if you are already at 350,000 rand, you might as well just go to Suzuki and get a Baleno GLX. That's what I think. So ultimate verdict for me is that the Vivo is one of the cars that we all aspire to buying when we start out in our careers, in our youthful days, in our 20s, an affordable car. But I think now it's been priced, especially the spec has been priced a bit too high for many consumers. And I think that you don't really need a GT spec. You don't need all these niceties. The Vivo comfort line will work very well at 280,000 rand. Or if you do have 350,000 rand, I wouldn't recommend this spec. I think with 350,000 rand, you can get a Baleno, you can get a Swift, you can get Celerio, you can get a lot of things. Because this car is not too far out with pricing. Like it's not too far out, the Polo, the normal 1 liter Polo. So I really do think that it is a little bit expensive, but it's a great car overall. So for me, ultimately, great product. Well done to Volkswagen for this. It looks beautiful. It's nice to drive. It's a proper budget car. It's a proper budget car to have. But at 350,000 rand, there's a whole lot of other options you can get. And if you really want a Vivo, I think you should look at the comfort line or the trend line. But I think comfort line at under 300k, you should be fine. Guys, out of tailoring sale, go my GT logo or regular Polo ya 400 block, but or can't wena. O tse abeam because that thing to roll saraga Vivo. I na stress, guys. Let's say more. Like say more spec sometimes, especially when it comes to budget cars. O say more spec, say o sa thula topo spec. Just live. Just drive what works for you and works for your pocket. But ultimately, I really do think it's a great car. It's light on fuel, man. The consumption, I think I'm doing what? I'm not doing much. Okay, I'm trying to find it. I am doing 6.4 liters per 100 Ks. So I don't think it's bad. Marna, I have a heavy foot, so please forgive me. I have a heavy foot. But yeah, I think it's nice, man. It's nice, but this spec, I don't think it's justified. For me, I don't think it's justified. But yeah. So that is it from me, Buma Seve. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you would get. Would you get this? Would you get a Grand i10? Would you get an i20? Would you get a Clio? Would you get the normal Polo? Would you get a Baleno? Would you get a Swift? Would you get a Celerio? Would you get a Vitz? Would you get a Starlet? Would you get this, that, and the third? Oh yes, the Toyota Starlet is also a good option at that price point. So kind of look around there, alright? But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are new and you guys have reached the end of this video, thank you so much for the support and staying with us. I will see you soon. I will see you next week. Very short and sweet review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah. Bye bye, guys. Bye.